Welcome to Workforce Online. I am Ana Ortiz and I am joined my colleague Mariana Latorre. Well, today we bring you a preview episode in which we will explore how work is being reshaped by major force, technology, and sharing economy and job mobility.
That is right. And for this crucial conversation, we've honored to be joined by the Dr. Laura Silva,
Yay.
a leading expert in labor transformation, who has advised international organizations such as the ILO and the World Bank. Okay, Dr. Martinez, welcome to this show.
Well, thank you so much, Anna and Mariana, for inviting me and for letting me join the podcast today. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I want to begin this chapter with these transformations are not only reshaping the structure of work itself, the way we work, but they are also having a profound effects on our social relationships, such as mental health and even the way we envision our careers.
Okay, let's start with a hot topic, the gig economy. Dr. Martinez, you described this model as a double-edged sword. Could you elaborate?
Yeah, of course. What is often celebrated as a revolution and flexibility works is at the same time normalizing instability. Platforms like Uber, Rappi, and Freelancer have created millions of job opportunities to people, and it's an estimated that 70% of million people have now worldwide. However, it's been reported that about 15% of these workers do not receive their basic benefits like health insurance and a paid vacation.
Well, she pointed out earlier that independence and automate are often painful, right? But they come at a cost. Mariana wasn't allowed pass it and address this.
Yeah, the so-called the bridal law was passed, which legacy obligates the platforms to treat the, their deliveries drivers as employees. But as the doctor tell us in during our pre-interview, implementation hasn't been uniform. Some companies mm, have found ways to avoid the complaints.
Yes, that's right. And some progress has been made on the European Union. However, in regions like Latin America and also in Africa, the gig workers are often excluded from labor projections and projects. For example, and for instance, in Kenya, in Africa, drivers working on app-based companies protested every day about the pay cut that they are determined by the opaque algorithm.
These algorithms are readily transparent, yeah? I recently spoke with delivery workers who say they had no idea why their earnings varied so drastically. Wouldn't you say this transparent setback in terms of labor risks?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we are taking in account is the witnesses, is the despersonalization in the labor relations. Technology is being used not to empower, but is used to control. So it's essential that the ethical frameworks be designed and implicated right now, so that these platforms can be held in an accountable way.
That's a key point. Many of these workers are being managed by systems, not supervisors. Their companies are not hurried by people, but handled or ignored by bots.
Well, it has been widely observed that grievance in platform war are now processed throughout fair channels. In many cases, workers are being deactivated with explanation.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to remote work. Back on 2020 was seen as the future of employment, but according to your 2023 study, there were unexpected uh, side effects, especially among young workers.
Yes, that's correct. Initially, the productivity went up. That was amazing. By about 22% of the levels went up, but also did the levels of anxiety, particularly among those people under the 30 years old. And what is being called an always on culture has been intensified by the communication tools and the digital tools.
Well, she explained to us before that younger workers who were once throughout to prefer remote work, right? Um, are now experience are serious issues like isolate and a lack of mentorship.
Actually, we received a message from one of our listeners. She wrote, I've been working remotely for over 2 years. I've never had a mentor or supervisor I could really talk to. That absence impacts her development significantly.
Actually, it does. In fact, the research conducted by Microsoft, I think, found that the junior employees often describe themselves as digital orphans without a family. So, as a result of this, many companies have started to adopt hybrid models of work so they can address this issue.
Yeah, but hybrid models come with their own channels, right?
Yeah, there is something called, I think, that is proximity bias. Those who showed up at the office in person are more likely and often to be promoted, simply because they are just visible for the company. And they can lead to an equality, even if it is supposed to be a flexible environment inside the companies.
Right.
Actually, it has been demonstrated in several studies that the promotion decisions are influenced not only by performance but also by the physical presence.
Well, so even when options are offered equal opportunities in not always guaranteed.
Yeah, precisely. That is why it's so important to redesign the workplace policies. So, just not to allow the remote work, but also to ensure that the mentorship, the inclusion, and also the fairness are actively promoted.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about automation now. Yeah. Which jobs are most vulnerable. I mean, how should the workers be prepared?
Well, I think that the most automatable jobs are those involving the repetition, make the same action over and over again. So, an example is data entry, routine customer service, and basic accounting. So, it's been estimated that about a 75% to a 90% of these roles could be automated within in the next decade. But it's not all that bad news. It also has the good news. Emerging sectors like healthcare, green technology, and elder care are expected to grow just in a few years.
Well, she also reminds us that the automation doesn't happen overnight, right? In Detroit, for instance, factory workers were trying to assemble electric vehicles batteries, but surprisingly, the 60% of them drop out of the training programs.
Yeah, that is because the technical skills alone are not enough. What is missing were the soft skills. They are also really important. An example of them are the communication, the adaptability, and also the resilience. The emotional intelligence is also important and it's becoming a key just because they are a differentiator of the modern workplace.
Hmm, that is really interesting. Mm, what would be your top recommendation for workers right now?
I would say that advocate the lifelong learning and activity and also training programs shouldn't be as an optional perks. They must be integrated to our work culture inside the companies. And also the governments and employers must recognize that those skills developments are not a luxury. They are a necessity and must be a right for people.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. Programs like Skill Future in Singapore are sharing an example, yeah, because are sharing our accessibility training is being aligned with what a market would actually need.
And we must forget how this impacts developing countries. Dr. Martinez, how is automation affecting the migration?
Well, that is a significant brain drain that is taking place right now. Professionals such as nurses, engineers, and teachers are migrating to countries right now, like Germany and Canada, where the visa free policies are being offered, but on their countries of origin, they are being left with a weakened system. And it is especially on the healthcare and educational process.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand. Well, she emphasized that remote work could be one a way to retain, right? Uh, Retain not only the talent of the team. However, very few national strategies are promoting remote field careers as a solution.
So, what is the big picture? I mean, regulations are being introduced to protect gig workers, but enforcement is still inconsistent.
Yeah. Technology is transforming, right?
Yeah.
How we work and live. So, but our legal and social structure are lagging behind.
Yeah, and that gap is exactly what is driving to a new wave of collective work and collective organizations. The workers around the world in many countries now are demanding the portable benefits, the access to continuous learning and a real voice, and also shaping their work conditions.
Okay, it is being increasingly acknowledged. I mean, the structural changer is not a matter of if, but how. Okay, wow, the time went by so fast. So, to sum up, platforms are being regulated, but enforcement is still being delayed.
Well, I think that that delay is precisely why workers' collectives are forming very fast on those days. So they are demanding fairness and also a seat on the table. And also, I wanted to say that at the same time, we can ignore that human skills are being undervalued in many of these teach driven transitions of fields.
Which, if any tip promote of this conversation are optional. They are being demanded by reality itself. Sorry.
Exactly. It is not just workers asking for change anymore. It is the future of work itself requiring systemic transformation.
So, thank you for joining us, Dr. Martinez, and we'll have our listening with this reflection. The future of work will be shaped not only by algorithms and platforms, but by the choice we make today.
Yeah, thank you, you both, for inviting me, Anna and Mariana. It was a pleasure to be here. And I also wanted to make a conclusion. So let's remember that it's not just adapting to change, it's about shaping that change with dignity and justice.
Okay. Thank you for all our listenings for tuning in to Worker Force Unlocked. Until the next time. See you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.